Coltonw and Razzer start off with splitting some wall breakers and Valkyrie in the back, so sticking with the new meta.
Michifu and Karnage have been the 2v2 duo here at the end of the season, coming off of a fairly nice win 2-0 over Akrap and God RF.
And just a little bit of a miss there on that King Tower activation from Coltonw and Razzer, but you have to go for it.
And Witch down, Skeletons don't split early enough to distract that baby dragon, so she takes about half of her HP and damage. You know, it's interesting to think about people who are watching CRL maybe for the first time. Yeah.
And that is the type of plays that Complexity and Immortals do not want to see.
Yeah, and just as I was about to talk about it, it's really interesting timing. You know, if you're watching CRL for the first time here at this stage and seeing Complexity not really in the run, you might not realize how strange that is, both between the organization's history in Clash Royale League and specifically the history of these two guys, the 2v2 duo Coltonw and Razzer, who, just some historical context, pretty much pioneered 2v2 in the West for competitive, getting together before the first season a couple months in advance to meet at the training center in Dallas, where Complexity makes their home with the Cowboys.
And right here, a really nice defensive freeze comes in, coupled with that poison that stops this massive double Lava Hound push from Coltonw and Razzer. And that baby dragon actually helps even things up quite a bit, but for a moment there, it looked like they were going to be behind by more than they would have liked.
Hog Rider down, immediate lava opposite direction. And that's going to be tower down.
So a decent-sized counter push here, but that giant skeleton bomb, if and when it does go off, should catch all these troops.
The Executioner not going to be enough. Minipeka sneaks one shot on through, tower down as we go into sudden death overtime.
And Payne not doubling down on defense there, recognizing it was probably going to be a lost cause, and they start this offense on the right.
It's a smart idea. Getting moving, and now they're going to get another Hog Rider connection. And a beautifully timed freeze. Doesn't get the baby dragon on the outside, but still gets in a few key swings.
Yeah, and stopping that Minipeka was really the most crucial part. A really nice pull here with the Inferno Tower, but what do they have for that Minipeka? Oh.
Giant Skeleton just cuts in, says, may I have this dance? Saves the tower, but still down to 1080.
Yeah, that baby dragon was locked on. Minipeka with a big threat. They stopped, but baby dragon does end up giving Complexity a commanding lead.
Coltonw and Razzer putting it on that right-hand tower down to 689. Michifu and Karnage trying to find a way to get back through and put down some damage of their own. Giant Skeleton gets stopped by the Goblin Cage, but a huge freeze.
Yeah, a really nice freeze, and it looks like the second Hog Rider, wow, on Minipeka, chops it away.
Unbelievable, just clogged the heck out of that lane. Saved a pile of damage.
And Coltonw and Razzer do not need a lot of help here, and that baby dragon shot should do it. Now lightning and poison, game one goes towards Complexity.
After a bit of a slow start, Complexity starts playing with style on the back end. Beautiful offensive plays, gorgeous defensive synergy, and they just put Payne into a rough spot.
Yeah, you know, Michifu and Karnage started off really nice, playing some pretty clean defense, but it was honestly the amount of baby dragon belches specifically that came in for Complexity that evened that game up numerous times, gave them the lead, and there was that one double Lava Hound push early on that was pretty well stopped by Michifu and Karnage, but it was just the last little bit of cleanup on those DPS troops. They were not able to lock down, and Razzer and Coltonw walk away with a very nice victory in game number one.
Coltonw and Razzer both have stunningly high 2v2 career records, 48 and 26 for Coltonw, 46 and 30 for Razzer. But as a duo this season, only 3 and 3 in sets.
Yeah, and you got to think that those gaudy numbers still come from a pretty rough season for Razzer at 8 and 12 in that 2v2 set. So you think at the end of the spring season, how dominant that record really was. Colton's still positive on the season at 11 and 10, now 12 and 10, that game win. So Royal recruits out, but Witch is in, and Pekka will have some difficulty getting through her.
Of course, Pekka Mega Knight, you prefer the Pekka in that matchup, but you get through the Mega Knight and there's a Witch right behind it. But this might be helpful.
Yeah, that Fisherman gonna pull her right in range and gonna help with this Executioner as well.
And Goblins stay ahead just long enough to mostly help the Executioner, and now Graveyard push right-hand side for Coltonw and Razzer.
And freezes out from both squads, but Coltonw and Razzer take a huge chunk out of both towers. Fisherman and Skeleton on the left-hand side.
Fisherman tanking for that Skeleton for a long time, so massive chunks. Damage dealt. Reach the midway point of regulation time. Complexity looking to put an early damper on Pain's playoff hopes.
Yeah, I mean, and when you are playing Graveyard and you've got both towers down to roughly the same, it really, really gives you a luxury of kind of hanging back and waiting for your opponent to overcommit on either side of the board and just attack cheap and hard the opposite lane.
And they wait to drop that EWIS until knowing exactly where the miner is going to be. One of the luxuries of that EWIS stun. Here we go, Balloon, Lumberjack, Bats in support, defensive freeze. And the offensive freeze in kind. That Balloon trying to find some way to connect, and it will.
And snowballs go flying from both squads, and Complexity takes one big bomb drop, but now very healthy tanks on both sides of the board.
It was freeze for freeze, snowball for snowball. In the end, Balloon gets on tower, but now Pain trying to keep their tower alive on the right-hand side against this Graveyard. They do survive, but won't have much available to counter.
Yeah, only 4:21 remaining, and this is where Complexity needs to play perfect defense. They need to be anticipating that freeze. They have to play a layered defense, as you can see right now.
Very smart freeze high, but Complexity had their freeze still to play on defense, able to stop the damage from getting in. 669 left-hand side, and here we go. Graveyard, Fisherman push on the right.
Yeah, Graveyard down, double Graveyard down with the snowball in, and even just one Skeleton connecting, that is gonna do it. Coltonw and Razzer take this set pretty easily from Pain Gaming.
And they end their season as a duo at 4 and 3 in sets. And the question has to be asked, Andrew. It has to be asked, what would happen with Complexity if you have this duo together for those first 4 matches of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you think if they're coming out and they're starting strong,